Sports bettors who have bet against the Jets are happier than the ones who bet on the
Yes.
Jets
Yeah.
historically.
Yeah. Last multiple years. Yeah.
But I don't care. I'm picking the Jets.
Oh
I'm
my
picking the
gosh,
Jets
this
to
guy.
win the division.
Ah, no.
Hey, welcome into the Fantasy Flow podcast. This is a conversation that flows between NFL and fantasy topics aimed to entertain. We are your hosts, Austin and Andy. Andy, how's it going?
Going good. Going good. Living life. Enjoying the nice sunny days while they're here. And yeah, ready to get into it today. How about you, buddy?
I'm pumped, dude. Yeah, no, it is fantasy draft season. We have another one tomorrow. We had one yesterday. Did you have one today, or was it just poker?
Yeah, no, I had a small break today. No poker, no nothing. Just good old good old normal day.
Okay, yeah, nice. Get a chance to do some research, or just put the phone down for a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of news went down in the NFL over the last 24, 48 hours. Every single team just cut down to their 53-man rosters. There were some trades, there were some interesting cuts, and a couple announcements made. The Steelers named Russell Wilson their starter. News is just flying around. And I'm here to ask you, Andy, what actually matters? What matters for fantasy? What matters for the NFL? Like all this news is just buzzing around, and it's going to continue to do so. But what actually matters to you so far?
Yeah, not a lot, to be honest. As much as there is news, not a whole lot to really account for. I think a couple big ones right off the bat is CD's contract, Jamar Chase coming back to
Yeah.
practice, um, and injuries. I think that's kind of what I took away from the cuts a lot is okay, sure, this person got cut, but that's somewhat interesting, but who ended up on the season-ending IR, who ended up on the PUP, and who got hurt during that week 3 preseason game? Jacoby Brissett, so
Hmm.
like just like a little bit of the more, unfortunately, who's hurt, I think, is the bigger storylines because teams have just been keeping that under wraps because they didn't have to really announce any of that stuff
That's
like they
true.
do in the normal season. They have to be on it during the regular season. So, yeah, that's what I took away a lot. Took away some names from there. Who are,
Yeah. AJ Dillon is out for the year, which suddenly makes Josh Jacobs a little more interesting for fantasy. Not that he wasn't already, but yeah, that definitely raises him up the ranks a little bit. I know CMC, the running back that everyone assumed would be his backup, his handcuff, he's now out for the year.
yeah, Elijah Mitchell.
So
Yeah,
yeah, so that's tough.
Kendra Miller. He's
Yeah,
out for the year. Or no, he's out. He's starting on
at
the.
least 4 weeks, I
Yeah,
think.
sorry, not out for the year. Yeah, for at least 4 weeks. That was pretty big too. A lot of
Yep.
creeping him, trying to take Kamara's spot.
Yeah, we'll get to it later, but yeah, we had a draft yesterday, and I snuck Taysom Hill near the end because he might be their team's change of pace running back
Yeah,
for my tight end spot. So
right, right.
yeah, we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I totally agree with you. The injury news is a little more important than who the team kept as their sixth wide receiver and
Right.
who is going to be on the practice squad. Like that doesn't matter for NFL. It doesn't matter for fantasy. It matters for those individuals and their families,
Yeah,
but not
yeah,
to our not to us, not to our listeners.
yeah. Unfortunately,
Um,
yeah.
One of the things that I took away from what happened, Deonta Foreman, the backup running back for the Browns, he did not make the 53-man roster, at least not as of this recording. And he was a guy that I was drafting with my last pick in like pretty much every mock draft that I did because he was totally free. And I think there's a huge opportunity here while Nick Chubb is out. We think Jerome Ford's going to step in and be the guy. But what a lot of people don't really remember is that Kareem Hunt also has vacated a bunch of carries and a rather large number of touchdowns. And I don't think that's all going to go to Jerome Ford. I don't think he can handle that, frankly. And so there's got to be another guy there to be the change of pace for Jerome Ford. And we've seen that role, that pass catching role, that change of pace role is actually relevant for fantasy. I mean, like, who's going to be the Kareem Hunt this year?
I think
I thought it was Deonta Foreman, but now it's looking like it could be Pierre Strong.
Yeah, I mean, Pierre Strong, I like Pierre Strong. I like their whole running back group, honestly. I mean, they have a really good running back room as a whole. But honestly, I think Jerome Ford is the Kareem Hunt role. And they're just going to have to use him as both the pass catcher and the true down the middle running back. And I don't think they really want to, but that's what they obviously believe in Nick Chubb. They kept Nick Chubb on the team. They believe he can come back from this gruesome injury. So I think it's going to be Jerome Ford's role and his soul. It's going to be him the whole time until Nick Chubb comes back. It does sound like Deonta Foreman is either going to come back on the practice squad or maybe make the roster, and they just had to cut him. I don't know the tiny
Yeah, but
details.
still, like the fact that they're playing with him like that
Right.
tells me that he's behind Pierre Strong.
Yes, I agree.
At the very least.
I agree.
So, yeah, that was news to me at least. I'm a big Deonta Foreman guy, and yeah, I just think in that offense with that O line, it's a desirable role, and yeah, maybe it does all go to Jerome Ford. In
Right.
which case, he's an even bigger value than we thought. You know,
Yeah.
he's already a huge value, but.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that stood out to me. And then the other thing that stood out to me over the last 24, 48 hours was that the Los Angeles Rams traded away for peanuts their 24-year-old defensive captain, inside linebacker Ernest Jones, to the Titans. And apparently there was some sort of contract dispute. The Rams just, on principle, do not pay inside linebackers. And that's what they told him. And he was like, well, then what do I do? Because I'm not going to play for free. And so then they said, okay, we'll do you a solid. We'll trade you to a team that might give a second contract to an inside linebacker. He hasn't gotten it yet as of this recording, but yeah, he's slated to start for the Titans, and that's a big deal in my opinion. I think he's great. I think he's like top 10 to 15 inside linebacker in the league. And he's very young. He has room to improve. He's 24 years old, and he's slated to start for the Titans right away. So I think that's arrow up for the Titans, and honestly arrow down for the Rams.
Yeah, that was I shook my head over that one. That one didn't make much sense to me. But at the same time, the Rams, Les Snead, Sean McVay, they know what they're doing, and it's hard to knock them when they make these types of moves. But because they obviously know something that we don't, and. But yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I've been sneakily on the Titans, and this just ups their roster. Imagine getting traded though 1 week before the season, a week plus before the season starts. No matter what your position, that's got to be tough.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah,
that's nuts. Whole new teammates, whole new system.
Yeah,
I mean, the Sean McVay defense is so unique, and yeah, I can't imagine that. I mean, he's so talented. Like they'll figure it out over there in Tennessee.
Right.
But yeah, for the Rams, apparently they're going to be relying on some like undrafted free agents. There's some guy named Omar who's supposed to start in the middle, who was not even drafted.
Oh, that's funny.
And I mean, there is some recent history. I think his name's Ivan Pace Jr. He's another undrafted inside linebacker that made some big noise for the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings fans out there know who I'm talking about. So it's not impossible. It's not unprecedented, but honestly, trading your defensive captain a week before the start of the season might be unprecedented.
Yeah, and what kind of message does that send to the rest of the locker room? I mean, you're just willing to get rid of your one of your biggest voices in the locker room a week plus before the season starts. That's crazy. That's a interesting dynamic right there. We'll see if that who comes out on top because of that.
Yeah, yeah. Us here in Seattle, we're not complaining.
No.
Just just shocked, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Recently, we just completed our first Guillotine League draft, and we wanted to share that with you all. We wanted to. This is kind of like our home league. We've been going for a couple years now. This isn't the listener league, but this is our OG Guillotine League, and we wanted to share that draft with you. Andy, do you got that pulled up?
I do.
Awesome. Yeah. So we figured out how to fairly randomly assign everyone to a draft spot. I ended up with the second pick. Andy ended up third to last. And yeah, it went down totally different. We have totally different team builds, and I love that. Andy, what stood out to you with this draft? Well, did it go how you expected it to go?
Yeah. Yes and no. Unfortunately, being at the tail end, I lost. I was getting hit left and right with, at least at the beginning of the wide receivers. But no, this league, because it's so dynamic and some people are experienced, some people are not. Like most leagues in this world, quarterbacks generally go pretty early. So I think that was kind of what shocked me the most is that they were pretty. Sometimes it can start that chain reaction when one or two quarterbacks go. It just seems like it just then there's three, four all in a row. So honestly, the fact that people kind of took their time with quarterbacks and it was a little bit more sporadic, and tight ends were the big dollar
Huh.
signs, were the big ticket item earlier than the quarterbacks. That's what I noticed during the draft.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Three tight ends in the second round. Yeah, I was surprised at how close to ADP it all kind of felt. Like I thought it would be harder to prepare, but my preparation was actually pretty reasonable as in terms of how it went down. I started off the draft with three straight wide receivers. That honestly was my plan. To take, I knew CMC would go one, and I thought Tyreek Hill was the next best thing.
Mm.
So I knew I would start off with Tyreek, and I did plan to double up on wide receiver at that 2-3 turn of mine, and then take advantage of some of those late round running backs that I talked about previously. Yeah, that's my team there. So I went Tyreek Hill, Nico Collins, Cooper Kupp back to back, and then at the next turn I went Zamir White, Najee Harris, two guys who, I mean, look, they're not top tier talents. They're not playing for top tier offenses. That's why they're available when they are. But this is a guillotine league, and those guys just have guaranteed volume that's gonna result in enough production to keep me from getting chopped. I want to ask about your draft. Did you intend to start off with those two running backs up there?
No, no. My strategy going into it was a running back, a wide receiver, a tight end, and a quarterback, all in the first four rounds. So generally, those first two, I wanted to go wide receiver, running back, and then on the 3-4 turn, hit a tight end and maybe do a stack, maybe not, of the quarterback. And yeah, by the time by the time it got to me on the first round, I mean, I was hoping for Barkley, I was hoping for Kyron Williams. I was kind of targeting a running back in the first, and I went with Devon Achan. And then second round, I was like, okay, I gotta get a wide receiver. But really, the only names that stood out to me was Puka and Nico Collins, maybe Mike Evans, and I just wasn't. And then Puka goes. And I just between Nico Collins and Mike Evans, I wasn't feeling too comfortable on the situation. So I went back to the running back available, and there was a lot of great names there: Derrick Henry, Alvin Kamara, Josh Jacobs, and I ended with Pacheco. Excuse me.
I
Still,
like Pacheco. Yeah,
yeah,
no, I like both of those picks, honestly. Yeah, it's hard to get those top tier running backs. You got two of them. You know, if I was on your end of the draft, I could see myself doing something similar.
yeah.
But yeah, I had Tyreek Hill available, and so I took Tyreek Hill, and then it seemed like by the time it got all the way back to me, that top crop of running backs were all gone. So I just went wide
Yes.
receiver.
Yeah. I like your strategy a lot. I think you picked up three really great wide receivers, and then you ended up with still three starting running backs after that. So you waited on tight end, you waited on quarterback. I think your team looks really solid. I like it a lot. I really haven't dove into this draft too much and seen all that happening. It's a shock just based off what I just said earlier. A lot of people take. We've seen in years past that a lot of people take quarterbacks early in this league, and so the fact that you waited on it and it in on paper it worked out. I like that a lot.
Yeah, thank you. We'll see. Yeah, what I thought was funny in the sixth round, Nick Chubb and Jerome Ford went back to back.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. I was with Papa Bear. He's the fourth pick. I was with him during the
Right.
draft, and he picks up Hollywood Brown in the seventh round, and I was giving him so much crap. This is his first time in a Guillotine league, but I was telling him, this guy, you can't use this guy. He is out for 4 to 6 weeks. I get it that the season hasn't started yet, but he
Yeah.
is going to be hurt at the beginning of the year, and the whole point of this league is to survive, and this player cannot help you survive. So the fact that people or players were getting that we knew were going to be starting the year hurt, like Nick Chubb, like Hollywood Brown, like
Yeah.
yeah, getting drafted this early was such a face palm.
Exactly. Exactly. Like this is guillotine specific advice here. But just the opportunity cost of drafting someone that you know is going to put a goose egg in your lineup, like of course you'll put them on your bench and then you replace them with someone else until they come back. But the opportunity cost of spending a draft pick before your starting roster is filled out, you just can't do that if you want to have a successful squad. You're gonna find yourself spending all your fab just to recover. It makes no sense, at least until your starting lineup is filled, because then you're not really hurting your chances of getting chopped, at least not at the very beginning. But yeah, I mean, Jerome Ford and Nick Chubb going back to back. I mean, we talked about Jerome Ford's going to be the workhorse, guaranteed 4 weeks minimum. And so by then, assuming I'm still in, there's going to be four fewer teams. Everyone's roster is going to look different.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I could add an even better running back by the time Jerome Ford's time as a locked in three down back is over. So it's just it doesn't make sense to draft those players that are injured, like you were saying. One of the things I wanted to talk about was your third and fourth picks. You took T. Higgins and Joe Burrow. Obviously, in the third round, you're looking at the wide receiver because you don't have one yet. You take T. Higgins. I love T. Higgins this year. He makes a ton of sense. And then you decided to stack him with Joe Burrow. Was that the only reason why you took Joe Burrow there? Because you already took T. Higgins? Or are you suddenly a big Joey B guy?
No, yeah, it was purely for the stack. I was debating between Amari Cooper, Tank Dell, T. Higgins in that spot, and in the third round, and Amari Cooper goes right before me. And yeah, I mean, because I went two running backs, I have to grab a wide receiver. And again, I'm just so used to this league, people taking quarterbacks, and I just did not want to be stuck with a bottom, a third tier quarterback. I wanted to get somewhere in the middle there. Yeah, so
It's a long wait, yeah.
it's a
After
long
that pick,
wait,
you would have had to wait a long time.
right?
I talked about in our last episode how stacking in a guillotine league is a little dangerous because, if Joe Burrow goes down or if the offense just gets totally shut down, well, now two of your top players are impacted by that instead of just one. Maybe it's a bad weather game. Maybe the wind's whipping around and the passing game is affected. I just I worry about that. But then on my team, my quarterback's Matthew Stafford and I have Cooper Cup.
Right.
So we all love the allure of the mega points you get with the stack.
Right.
Another manager in the league, he took AJ Brown in the first round and Jalen Hurts in the third round, and I thought, wow, I was so envious of that. That's so smart.
It's a
And
good
then he
stack.
took a workhorse and Derrick Henry in between, and I was like, wow, what a good team.
Yeah, what a great
But
start.
yeah, I mean, one bad game from the Eagles offense, and he's in trouble.
Yeah, I mean,
So
but that's that stack or no stack. That's if your if in this league, if your quarterback doesn't succeed during that week, you're it's going to be hard to recover. You're looking, especially this early, you're looking like you're probably going to get chopped if you're quarterback. So stack or no stack, I mean, that's that your quarterback has to succeed these first couple weeks for you to even have a chance.
yeah. If your quarterback goes down in the first half and leaves the game, that's almost a death nail in guillotine.
Yep. Yep. No, I think just highlighting my team a little bit more. I texted a few folks after this draft and said, "How do you feel? What could you have done better?" Just a little recap over text, and one individual said, "I did really good with my buys. I don't have a lot of early buys. All my players have later buys," and I said, "Oh my gosh, I didn't even look at that." So I checked my team right away, and of course Pacheco and HN have week 6 buys, and I just totally spaced on that. So my strategy going into this is survive to week 6, and I need to pick up a running back somewhere in the middle of that. 2 running backs actually, because I don't have because I went running back. I just punted that position the rest of the draft. I said I have to
Yeah.
hyper focus wide receivers now.
Yeah, that's a bummer you didn't have at least one other running back that could make you feel a little bit safer about that. Yeah, on my end, Tyreek Hill and Cooper Cup, 2 of my first 3 picks, both have week 6 buys. So
Oh yeah,
I knew what I was doing, but those are my guys,
yeah.
and I don't know. Yeah, we'll have to see when we get there how that all shakes down. But
Too good of a name to pass up.
yeah, we love that guy.
Yeah.
There's a couple teams in here that are going to be hurting at running back. Speaking of running back, the first team took CMC, and then his next running back he took was Nick Chubb, who's not going to start for the first 4 weeks minimum. So he's going to have to start J.K. Dobbins or Tyrone Tracy week 1.
Yeah, yeah, and he also took Deebo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey. Now, don't get me wrong; they're on the high-powered, top 5 offense.
Yeah,
But same thing as you just mentioned, when you put, especially in this league, when you put
Yeah.
a lot of eggs into one basket and that basket decides to crumble on you halfway through the first week or the first 2 weeks, that this is all about survivability, and so trying to
Yep.
optimize your team to make you survive at least through the first 3 to 5 weeks, and then you can adjust your strategy after that.
Yeah. He's got Christian Watson and Luke Musgrave too.
Oh, yep. I didn't even see that. Yep, you're right.
There are a couple other teams made some really interesting decisions at running back. Yeah, our buddy in the third spot, he took Kenneth Walker, and then his next running back, his next best guy, it looks like Damian Pierce.
Wow, I don't feel so bad anymore now. Now that we're highlighting
No,
all
yeah,
these
yeah,
teams.
and you just have to be not last. So when you
Yeah,
see Damian Pierce in someone's starting lineup, you go,
right.
okay.
Yeah, I mean, you have to start 2 running backs. So another team I'm going to highlight here is where did they go? Is Gabe the Babe. at the 12 spot. He went Kyren
Yeah.
and then went all receiver and tight end. I mean, great names except for the Jacksonville stack. But overall great names, but then his RB2 is going to be either Trey Benson or Ty Chandler.
But those are backups.
Yeah, we'll see what happens in Minnesota, but I mean, I would feel more comfortable starting Ty Chandler over Trey Benson in that scenario. But
Yeah, in week one, like I
in
guess.
week exactly,
Yeah. So
they are the backup or the second string or the spell guy,
yep.
however you want to say it.
Totally. And I love the other names that he took. Chris Olave, Devontae Smith, those are great PPR
Right.
guys, nice and safe. Trey McBride and Jared Goff's going to get off to a great start. That's a huge value at the quarterback spot. Um, some crazy stat about him having like 14 out of 17 games in a dome this
Oh, I
season. I
know.
don't know.
It's
Something weird with the schedule. He's got just and he's totally set up for success.
yes.
So hopefully, that's his strategy, and he just punted RB2. But man, when shit gets real,
Right.
and guys start coming up with injuries, and suddenly they're questionable on Friday, and
Yep.
oh man, yeah, that's just not where you want to be.
Not having a pivot. I mean, like myself, I only have the two running backs, so they have to they have to play week one. But at least I have two.
They'll play week one.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
But yeah,
At
moving
least they're
forward,
both
yeah.
starters, right? So
Right.
I feel pretty good about that. But yeah, that's why I highlight your team a little bit more, is just because you have starters. Your first 7 picks are all starters, where I forget his first name, but we saw Vidal go in the 6th
Yeah,
round.
Kamani Vidal.
Kamani Vidal.
That was just a crazy
I think that was the craziest pick of the whole draft, honestly.
Yeah, in the 6th round. Let's see.
You had
Yeah, ahead of Gus Edwards, Brian Robinson,
Tajay Spears, Jerome
ahead of Jerome
Ford.
Ford. Yeah, it's just wild.
Very
Anyways.
wild. I wish you the best of luck there, Coach Hayes.
Yeah. Well, that was it's going to be a ton of fun. We'll see how it shakes out. We'll be providing some of the listeners with some updates.
Yes.
But this isn't even our listener league. We still have some spots open in our listener Guillotine league.
Yes.
So don't forget, if you want to join us, just hit us up, email us at thefantasyflowpodcast@gmail.com, or just get in those comments and tell us, hey, I want to join. And you send us your sleeper ID, and we'll send you an invite.
Yes.
And that draft is happening in the coming days. So yeah, jump on in. We got some exciting news. I am thrilled to announce our partnership with BETSTAMP and Signup Expert, which opens up an incredible opportunity for you listeners to join some of our favorite sports books and gets the best odds and new user offers. BetStamp's app helps sports bettors by comparing odds from different sports books so you can maximize your bets, and it helps track all of your bets to keep everything organized and helps you bet responsibly. They are this show's first sponsorship, and we are thrilled to have them aboard. Head on over to our dedicated page at signupexpert.com/fantasyflow in the description to explore a selection of sports books tailored to your region, each with unique offers. If you're ready to take your sports betting to the next level and support our show, we highly recommend signing up for your next sports book through the show's Sign Up Expert link in the description of this episode. This will allow you to take advantage of the many new user offers available. It's a win for you guys. It's a win for us when you use our link. Let them know that we sent you there. It's wins all around, especially with those new user offers. Each one for each new sports book you sign up for. So definitely go ahead and check that out. Look, guys, Andy and I, we made a pact that we would never promote another company on our podcast, on our platform, do that to our brand, unless that company agreed to give us money. That's enter BetStamp. They give us our own promo code and our own link. This is what it looks like when you go through our link and sign up for a new sports book. This is what you're going to see. And it's going to show you sports books available to you in your location. And every time you sign up, you get one of these new user bonuses. And that also helps out the show when you become a new user through our link.
The page is super simple. It geo-locks your location, so all the sports books are right there available for you no matter where your location is at, and it's super simple. Our promo code is already embedded in the link and in the sportsbook that you decide to choose. Give it a shot. See what's available for you, and anything helps.
Speaking of sports bets, Andy and I are going to take a look at every single division in the league. We're going to whip around and we're going to pick 8 division winners for you guys right now. And we got the odds pulled up. We got all the teams. And we're going to start off in the AFC East, potentially the most wide open division in the league. Andy, first, before we get into the odds, who's your pick to win the division?
I'm going to go with the Miami Dolphins.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, well, every sports book's going to be different. Right now, I'm looking on DraftKings, and the Miami Dolphins are not favored to win the division. Every single team is giving you plus money. The Dolphins happen to be plus 205 on DraftKings as we speak. So that's pretty spicy. That's a pretty good return. What makes you pick the Dolphins?
Oh, I mean, I think Buffalo's going to have a hard trek to get back there to winning the division. Their defense is decimated. Their offense is totally reworked. Josh Allen putting on the Superman cape. I just don't see it. And then with the Jets, they're going to Jets it up somehow. So I'm going with Miami.
Sports bettors who have bet against the Jets are happier than the ones who bet on the Jets historically.
Yeah. These last couple of years, last multiple years,
Oh yeah. But I don't care. I'm picking the Jets.
Oh my
I'm picking
God,
the Jets to win the division.
No.
No, what are you doing? No. I think the Jets are going to win the division. Yeah, I really do. As long as Rodgers stays healthy. I think they have the best squad up and down. Their defense is lights out. We saw that last year, and they made a ton of improvements to the offensive line. I think that's going to help keep Rodgers upright. And, the team I'm most worried about is the Dolphins, actually, but they just fall apart at the end of every year, and I don't know what they've done this offseason to really address that. They're just not a tough team. I think the Jets have what it takes. I think they've been a quarterback away for a little bit now, and I think it's going to come together. I don't know that they're going to the Super Bowl or anything, but if I had to pick a team to win this division, it would be the Jets.
Fair enough.
All right. Next. AFC, let's go north.
Okay.
Who's your pick to win the AFC North?
Yeah, I mean, I got to go with the Ravens. I mean, you're wearing the jersey. It's, I think, talking to, yeah. I think Cincinnati will be interesting. And I was just on the phone with a friend of mine. I think the Browns are really underrated. I think maybe they are, maybe they're not, but I think they can I think they could make a really strong push to win this division if everything goes right. If Deshaun Watson comes and plays like the MVP caliber player that we've seen him play before, the defense is super stacked. The coach knows what they're doing. The coaching staff knows what they're doing.
Yep.
I think they have a strong chance to make a fight for the playoff for the division lead, but I can't knock the Ravens. I mean they're just a small tier above all the rest.
Yeah, the Browns are plus 550 to win the division.
Yeah.
So Vegas is not giving them much of a chance, and I think it is because of that quarterback situation.
Right.
The MVP level Deshaun Watson, he's gone. He's dead.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen. But yeah, you're right. Outside of that position, it is a really good roster and it's a great coaching staff. But boy, I mean, I love the Baltimore Ravens to win that division this year. They have the quarterback. They have the MVP quarterback already. Exactly. We talk about what if this quarterback plays like an MVP. They have the reigning MVP. and the rest of their roster is pretty all right too.
Yeah.
And they're still plus money. What I'm looking at right now shows the Baltimore Ravens plus 145 to win the division. So
Yeah.
yes, it's a long season. A lot can happen. The Bengals have won the division in the past, in the recent past, but yeah, I think we're both in agreement there. Let's go to let's knock out a couple of these other divisions. Let's go AFC West.
AFC West. I mean, do we even have to
I
talk
think the
about it?
Chiefs are going to win that division.
What odds are you seeing on them? Minus, I'm gonna throw out a guess right here.
All right,
Minus 175.
minus 260.
Oh my gosh! Wow! Wow! Wow!
So
Wow!
that means to the uninitiated, you would need to bet $260 just to win $100. So look, that's not fun. It's not as fun as betting on something that's going to get you a big return, but it's as locked in as you can get for a division winner. Maybe not since the prime Tom Brady Patriots, where all three of the other teams were just floundering. Have we seen a division where we have like three rebuilds going on at the same time and just one absolute rocket ship that is the Chiefs?
Yeah.
And all the retooling they've done to their offense, we can move on. Like
Yeah.
I love the Chiefs even at those odds. Like just slap that on to whatever sort of parlay you got going on. I love it as just something that you can almost lock in.
Right. Yeah. An easy win.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Something that's not as easy. Let's go to the last AFC division, the AFC South. It came down to Colts Texans at the end of last year. Who do you
Right.
got this year?
Yeah. The sportsbook I'm looking at is saying that Jacksonville has the second best odds, not Indianapolis, which is funny that it was Indy and Houston to end the year after that one game. It was a winner go home, but I'm gonna throw a curveball here, and I really like the Tennessee Titans. I think they can make the push to win this division.
Vegas has them at plus 1,000 to win the division. That means you bet $100, you win $1,000. Or conversely, maybe you just bet $10, you win $100. So that's the exciting return a lot of bettors are looking for. And I know we both think that those are interesting odds. The Titans might be a little underrated. They just added Ernest Jones, as like we mentioned up top. But do you actually think they're going to win the division?
I think there. I just was listening to another show this morning.
Come on, plant your flag.
And
Plant your flag.
They were
Do
saying
it.
there's always a team that comes from the ashes from last year, a 5-win team that turns into a playoff team. I think Tennessee is going to be that team this year.
Yeah, if Will Levis works out, it's kind of like, what are the other holes on this team? They have two nice running backs. They got a squad in their receiver room. They don't use tight ends, so that we don't even have to worry about that.
The trenches are a little weak on both sides. I gotta admit, but
You could say that for pretty much every team in this division.
right.
I think what our listeners are yelling at us, both of them, they're yelling, man, the Texans and C.J. Stroud. You know, Stroud's so good. Of course they're gonna win the division again.
They have the best odds too. I'm saying Tennessee's going to do it.
But yeah, lots of turnover on defense.
Yeah, I mean,
And
not every star rookie quarterback has an amazing sophomore year. So
that's true.
You
Yeah,
know.
they call it a sophomore slump. There's a reason that expression exists. Yeah, every team has tape on him now. They
Right.
know kind of what to expect this year. I think Stroud's up for the challenge. Honestly, I would pick the Texans to win the division, although I like the Titans' odds better. And, if I had to bet on one of them, I would probably bet towards the Titans because that's really exciting, and I think they're underrated. But
yeah, I would use a program like BetStamp or something like that to
good idea.
help determine some odds between different types of sports books and maybe maximize your bet and do a smart bet if you wanted to do something like this. And then maybe at the very end, after making all your smart decisions using an application like BetStamp, you can throw a for funds one on one of these least odds to win their division, like the Tennessee Titans.
Sure. Yeah, yeah. If you're trying to string together like a parlay, maybe you include the Texans in there to hit that shot, but then maybe you make this other little side bet on the Titans in case you're wrong. Just a nice little
Yeah.
hedge that gets you like 10-1 odds.
Right. Right. 10-1. Hard to beat that.
Let's go to the NFC. NFC West. I got the 49ers. How about you?
Yeah, man, that hurts to say out loud, so I'm not going to do it, but I'm going to agree with you.
Okay. Yeah. There's some other good teams in that division, but no one's really been able to stop the machine that is in San Francisco.
Right.
So
Right.
we're just going to pick San Francisco, even though they're minus 195. I still like that. Let's move on. How about the NFC East?
NFC East, now, this is the one that I think I'm going to have the most trouble with in the NFC, honestly.
Yeah, you're a big Dak Prescott, CD Lamb guy for fantasy. How is that going to translate in terms of wins and losses for the Cowboys?
Yeah, I've been saying all offseason that Dak and CD are going to have monster years, but I don't think they're going to win very many games. I think they're going to put up points. I think they're going to be competitive. I just don't think they're going to get the W's at the end of the day. So I guess then, and as a result of that, I'm gonna say Philadelphia. I'm gonna go with the
It's
favorite.
boring, but I agree with you.
Yeah.
One thing interesting, the Eagles, they're minus 125. The Cowboys are plus 170. So, we both picked the Eagles, so I guess it makes sense. But I was expecting those teams to be pretty close
Yeah, you would
before I
think.
looked at the odds, and they're not.
Well, that's Vegas telling you. That's Vegas screaming at you that they don't believe in Dallas.
Yeah. NFC South. This was a disaster of a division last
Oh
year,
boy.
although Baker Mayfield ended up getting a playoff win. What do you see for the future of this division?
Yeah, it's Atlanta's division to lose. I don't with Kirk Cousins added in. I mean, they just got so stacked on defense within the last like 2 weeks, which is just crazy. Getting Judon, getting Justin Simmons, AJ Tyrell, they already have back there. I mean, they're stacked on defense. I'm loving this team, and I'm a big. I mean, it's hard not to root for Kirk Cousins after the whole quarterback series with Netflix, and whatever your views are in this world, he's a fun guy to root for, in my opinion. So I think I'm gonna choose Atlanta.
Yeah, they felt like they were a quarterback away, and now they have a quarterback. And even if Kirk Cousins goes down, they have a top 10 rookie right behind him.
Right.
So
Right.
the more I thought about it, the more it kind of feels like Atlanta is as close to bulletproof as you can get. They're pretty insulated against injuries. Now, like you said, they added those nice players to shore up that defense. If Kirk Cousins goes down, they have another quarterback. If Bijan goes down, they have another running back in Tyler Algier. They're minus 130 right now, which
Not
for a
not
heavy
bad.
division favorite, no, yeah, that's not bad odds. All the other teams, by the way, are in like the 3, 4, or
Yeah.
500s.
Yeah. Pretty big gap.
So if you felt strongly about one of those other teams, maybe you're worried about Kirk Cousins' injury, there's some value to be had on the other teams, but we're going to ride with the Falcons here.
How do you put a bet on the Saints getting last? That's my question.
I think you can do that. I think
Yeah.
I've seen in some sports books they offer exact finishes of the division. If you say I think this team's going to finish first, this team second, this team third, this team fourth,
Oh wow.
that's an option for some sports books. And then you can always just take the Saints under win total.
Sure. Yeah, that's true.
That's a pretty surefire
That's
way
a
to
good
do that.
point.
Last division, NFC North. Are we riding with Dan Campbell, or are the Packers coming up?
Wow, the odds I'm looking at is Detroit at plus 130, Green Bay at plus 210, Chicago at plus 325. Really pretty tight group there.
Yeah, it is. You would think with all the hype the Lions have gotten that they would be minus that they would be long odds, but they're
Right.
not. They're giving you plus 130 to bet on the Lions just to win the division. But yeah, you look into it more, and it's kind of like, oh, that makes sense because I am worried about the Packers and just how far they've come so quickly. If Jordan Love can continue that heater he was on at the end of last year for a whole season, what does that look like? Yeah, I would be really nervous about betting on the winner of this division, probably more than any of the other divisions.
Do
Because
all
you're not getting great odds. It's, plus 130. It's not like a fun long shot either.
right.
And the Packers plus 230. They're betting on them to surpass the Lions, even though the Lions have improved year upon year. I don't know what to do, man.
Do all three of these teams make the playoffs?
3 meaning Chicago.
Yeah.
Man,
That would leave out.
I don't
Okay,
know.
so if that's the scenario, right?
That's only one other wild card spot.
Yeah,
for the other three.
Dallas or the Rams.
I think they're going to beat each other up. I think it's too competitive. They play each other. They're going to give each other L's.
Sure.
But crazier things have happened, man.
All right, I'm gonna let you go first because I haven't decided yet.
To pick a winner of the division.
Yeah.
I'll do it. I'll go Packers.
All right, I'll go Detroit.
I just love what we saw from that offense, and I think they finally fired their defensive coordinator, and they've totally changed up what that secondary looks like and how they're going to go after it. And yeah, I just this isn't Hollywood. This isn't a storybook ending. We don't, if the coolest coach and the easiest team to root for could just get into the Super Bowl,
Right.
by popular vote, that would be awesome.
Right.
But yeah, I think they might have to fight their way through the wild card round.
Fair enough.
All right, those were all 8 divisions. Now you know which team's going to win all those divisions, and now you know what to do about it. If you feel like making a sports bet, go on to BETSTAMP and click the link down below if you want to sign up as a new user on a new sports book. Take advantage of those new user offers. Next time you hear from us, we're going to be breaking down the action from NFL Week 1 2024. Go Hawks. Go Lamar. Go everyone that we drafted on our fantasy teams.
Go our teams. Yeah.
Go our teams. Thank you. And yeah, we'll see you guys later.
Yeah. Thanks everybody.
Thanks a ton for making it to the end of the episode. You're a real one. Don't forget to like and subscribe. That's a free, easy way to support the show, and it really helps us out. And leave us your comments down below if you're on YouTube, or send in your questions at thefantasyflowpodcast@gmail.com. Until next time.